Hi, it's Travis here, and welcome back to our adventures in Azeroth. Last episode, we slayed some ogres in the Arathi Highlands to help the Horde of Hammerfall, because it seems that they are having trouble with the trolls and the ogres in that region. Today we're going to have a chat with Keeper Belveril. A notable talent of the Wizards of Dalaran is their familiarity with elementals, powerful creatures from other dimensions. The Wizards use magical tokens as a means to control these elementals. Magus Voidglare would like some of those tokens to study. Enter the territories of Dalaran Wizards west of Hillsbrad and gather the tokens. You might find the tokens on any citizen of Dalaran, but I suggest hunting at the internment camp. It's safer than Dalaran itself.
Watch your back.
Alright, so we will head over to Dalaran. Or I guess you could call it Old Dalaran. And that's just up here in Alterac. Right over here. So we'll make our way there. And then we'll fight some of the citizens of Dalaran, I guess. I wonder what the drop rate is like on this on these stone tokens. We'll also queue up for a dungeon. We'll see if we get lucky today. We're actually high enough level for Cathedral now. We actually have to do Cathedral again, so I guess I'll queue up for that as well. And I believe we've done an armory, but we haven't done a library, so we will queue up for those. Hopefully we get lucky, find a group. If not, then eventually I will probably just look for a group. Looks like we got two priests right here looking for a group. And we got two paladins, a warrior, and a priest looking for library. So there's a good chance we might actually get into one. That'd be kind of cool. But hopefully we get enough time to do this Dalaran quest. It's nice that they added this, looking for group. I know a lot of people don't use it in TBC. It's like most people use the looking for group bulletin board add-on. But I think for lower level dungeons, the looking for group really does help. Because nobody really wants to do classic WoW dungeons in the LFG chat, so you rarely see anybody posting for that stuff. Alright, so we're at Dalaran. There, I think this is the internment camp. So we'll head over here, and then we will get in some fights. See what we can do. Those are level 32, so we shouldn't have too much trouble. See the herbs here. They got Fade Leaf. A lot of stuff we can't herb. We got a Bruiseweed in there, though. Try to find that. Look at these Dalaran guys. You got a cool little tabard there. The all-seeing eye of Dalaran. It's cool how Dalaran can teleport all over the planet, all over Azeroth. There's a Dalaran in Northrend. There's a Dalaran in the Legion expansion. I forget the name of the place, though. There we go. We already got a stone token. Not a bad drop rate. Dalaran's honestly one of my favorite cities to ride my mount in. You just ride it in a square over and over. Looking for groups. Looking for something to do. I think it has the best route out of any city for that type of stuff. Oh, we got wizards here. Okay, gotta watch out. Dalaran Thurgist. Summoning an elemental. Okay, so we gotta make sure we kick that. Last thing we want this guy to do is get an elemental off. Looks like they have some mage weave cloth for us. That's good, because we need some of that to level up our first aid. Still looking for... Oh, there's a Bruiseweed we want. Summoning a spirit. Make sure we interrupt that. Yeah, these mages get wrecked. Richter. I wonder what's wrong with Richter. Like, why is he considered... Oh, we can kill him, but he's actually, he doesn't want to fight. But we can choose to fight him if we want. Maybe he's a traitor. Could be a traitor to, the undead. Or the Forsaken, I should say, I guess. Okay. There's Dermot. Richter and Alina. Alright, so I guess we'll go to this little cabin over here. Cut through here. See what's going on in the cabin. Looks like we do have some guards here. This guy's like a paladin. Got a violent shield effect. Armor increased by 720. Cannot move or attack. But he deals 85 damage. What a weird ability that is. So we just damage ourselves? Oh, is that a... There we go. I haven't got a token in a while. See if this guy uses that ability. There we go, got a nice little proc and a scroll of strength that we'll use. And we have some wizards to deal with. We might be in some trouble. He's summoning a spirit. We're gonna kick that. This guy's gonna get his spirit off. Not much we can do about that. But we will fight it. Spirit of old. He's summoning tons of them. How many can he summon? Is he summoning another one? Oh, he just... Oh, okay, well, you know what's good? It's good that he can only summon one at a time. Actually, never mind. What the heck is going on? Okay. These Dalaran guys are interesting. They're much different from any other mob I've ever had to fight. They have, like, interesting abilities. We have this proc right now that I want to keep up. Oh man, there's 3 stacks of it. Hope I can. There we go. We kept it up. Beautiful. And that is the proc right here, Vengeance. We're dealing 6% more holy damage, which helps out a lot. Was he using that ability? 85 damage. Okay, inflicted to attackers. Be cool if it was like a taunt ability as well. Who's this? Warden Bellamoor. This guy seems to be a traitor too, probably. Keegan Darkmar. I have a feeling I probably should have picked up another quest to come here. There's probably another quest to deal with these undead. It's weird that they have so many undead here. Alright, here we go. Let's deal with her. She's gonna shoot fireballs in our face. This undead guy's just watching. He's pretending he is not seeing anything. I wonder if she'll drop a worn stone token. And Valamore's research journal. I wonder what we do with that. Click to read it. Keegan Darkmore, leader of the small group of undead who came to us in search of asylum from their brethren, defies our common attitudes towards his kind. His skin may be rotting and blood may have long stopped flowing through his veins, but he acts very nobly and seems to care more for his compatriots' safety than his own. Indeed, there is humanity within him that I confess I sometimes see lacking in the humans around me. But why do I mention this? I do so to give credence to what I am about to write. These words came from Keegan's lips. It is my hope that my colleagues will, Upon reading this journal, know that I believe what he said. Remnants of the old gods still linger in the deep hollows of the world. Well, that is true. New forces seek to harness that ancient power, and those who succeed will have a terrible weapon against their enemies. That is what Keegan uttered as he handed his bloodstone pendant to me, and there was fear and maybe reverence in his eyes as he did so, and his hands met with mine. They lingered, as if reluctant to give up the pendant. Revulsion swept through me, yet to this day I know not if I reviled against his dead flesh pressed to mine, or if the pendant itself made my skin crawl, for I felt the power within it, a deep hidden hungry power, and one yearning for release. Although my colleagues in Dalaran were cautious to study the bloodstones that Keegan and his followers brought with them, instead quarantining the 4 refugees and leaving the bloodstones on their prisoners, security Keegan obliged me to study the bloodstones pendant. My hopes were to verify for my colleagues that this type of stone did possess magical properties, and if we wizards of Dalaran did not wish to exploit the powers of the bloodstones, we should at least learn their properties, since our foes may one day use them against us. And so my studies began. I started my tests with the assumption that bloodstones was a type of rock, like quartz or obsidian. So I began a series of procedures to determine what minerals were contained within the bloodstone, what forces were applied to produce its color and hardness, and other properties common to rocks and ore. But the bloodstone pendant, to my frustration, did not react to my procedures as would normal ore. In fact, it often acted in precisely the opposite fashion as expected. It was almost as if the pendant was deliberately fouling my experiments, like it was thinking and alive. Angered but not discouraged, I switched from assuming the pendant was an inert piece of rock to assuming it was a living thing. But again, I failed. None of my new tests brought to light any revelations of the origin of the bloodstone. At the time, the only riddle I solved was that bloodstone was neither living nor dead, neither living or dead. But it was then, at the brink of failure, that a breakthrough was made. My latest test involved a glass beaker whose brim was chipped, leaving a small, jagged piece along its edge. When the test was over, again revealing nothing, I went to clean my work table and cut myself on the beaker. The cut was not deep, but nevertheless bled fiercely. Before I could wrap my injured finger in a bandage, a good deal of blood had spilled on my work table, and as I was cleaning up this new mess, I noticed the strangest thing. The blood that had spilled near the bloodstone pendant was slowly moving toward the piece of jewelry, as if gravity had somehow bent itself towards the bloodstone. The blood touched the pendant, seemed to disappear, and the red color of the stone deepened and drank more of my blood. Alright. After seeing this, my head grew light, perhaps from my recent injuries, though I did not believe I had lost that much blood. Or perhaps because I had finally, after so much frustration, uncovered one of the bloodstone's properties. I reached behind me for my work stool and sat down, pondering thoughts and questions. I raced through my head, dizzying and threatening to topple me. Does bloodstone drink blood? Does it crave blood? Does it attract blood? Or is bloodstone made of blood? And if so, then whose blood? Mine? The blood of any human? Any animal? Or maybe bloodstone is the blood of some unknown thing, the very thing that Keegan both feared and revered when he handed me his pendant. That his question that must be answered is the key. Fire rekindled within me. I then dove back into my experiments. This time, I made no assumptions, methodically performing every test at my disposal. This increased my required efforts tremendously, but I would be more likely to make discoveries. And although my lab here is small and I have no subordinates to spare to aid, I did find one more intriguing quality of the bloodstone. In addition to blood, there are elements, elemental forces fused within the stone. Fire, water, thunder, and rock are mixed with the blood, but again, the blood of what? And although this mixture is outwardly inert, all these forces seem to rage inwardly against each other. So many more questions were then raised about this amazing and foreboding material. But to answer those questions, more studies and experiments must be performed on the pendant, and I fear that the Lordamir internment camp cannot marshal the manpower nor the equipment for the task. So I sent the Bloodstone pendant with a courier to Dalaran with specific instructions on how to test it, so they may avoid earlier frustrations. As I waited for the results of these tests, I spent my time speaking to Keegan, although I constantly pressed him for what he knew about the Bloodstone. He never told me more than what he said. The day he gave me his pendant, and he did not often speak of his time within the fold of what he called the Forsaken, which is the name he calls his clan of undead. So they don't even know much about the Forsaken. But Keegan was very eager to speak on other subjects, particularly his time growing up in Lordaeron before its fall. He still holds much love for that lost kingdom, even though it is now ruined and dead. My growing fondness for Keegan gave my patience as I waited for my test results. But after weeks of no news, my patience faltered, and upon further inquiries to Dalaran, I learned that the Bloodstone never reached my colleagues. My courier was somehow lost on the way, and the Bloodstone pendant was lost with him. This grave news, for although Keegan and his followers still have Bloodstone specimens with which we may experiment, I fear the pendant may fall into unsavory hands. I have sent another messenger to Dalaran, and hear that even now they are scouring for the pendant in the ruins outside of the protective sphere. I only hope we're not too late. Yeah, so I wonder what old god that pendant's connected to. Could be the one from ZG, Sol Garub. Because they call him the Blood God. I forget his name, but it's that serpent that those trolls love. That's in ZG. Can't believe I forgot his name, but yeah, I think that might be him. I think he's considered an old god. Most likely. Even though he doesn't really look like one. And yeah, we haven't got a Worn Stone token in a while. I thought after that story we'd probably be done, but it's a pretty long story. It's like 19 pages. Not a bad short story. Long story for WoW, that's for sure. I guess we'll leave them alone. Leave Keegan and her alone. But yeah, it was a cool story. I kind of liked it. I wish there was a little bit more information, though. Summon the spirit of old. Hit him. Okay, he just disappears. Yeah, it was an interesting story. It's funny how they don't know much about the Forsaken. You'd think living, like, you know, literally across the lake, they would know a little bit more about the Forsaken, but I guess the Forsaken really keep themselves hidden from the rest of the world. That's a smart thing of them to do. You know, and if anybody ever goes down into Lordaeron or Undercity, they probably never make it out alive. It's most likely the case. So I think we'll be okay here. Yeah, the drop rate on these stones, it's kind of rough. It's not the greatest. Like, we clean sweep these two two spots like a couple times. Oh great, I'm just pulling the world now. I'm gonna try to kill this guy though. And then we'll do a little one of these. You should get it soon. Spirit keeps chasing me. Where's this guy fight me here? Oh, they keep chasing me. He evaded my attack. Yeah, it's nice when you find books like that. There's not many of those in WoW. It's one thing I liked about Skyrim. They always had, like, little storybooks you could read. Alright, let's keep on going. Dalaran must have been such a interesting place back in Classic. Like before anybody knew about it. And then when they seen it in Wrath of the Lich King, they must have kind of... Everybody must have kind of freaked out. Or anybody who followed the lore. So they'd be like, oh, that's that city in Hillsbrad. I think it's Hillsbrad. What would you call this? It's Alturak? Yeah, it's Alturak Mountains. See if this shield guard has a stone token on him. There we go. There's 2 more left. These seem to be Keegan's buddies. And I think he's trying to save them from the Forsaken. I think she's trying to save trying to save them from Sylvanas. Maybe he thinks Sylvanas is wicked or evil. Might know something that many of the people understood do not know. Yeah, no invite yet. Refresh here. It's only 2 of us now. It's too bad. But yeah, we got the Worn Stone tokens, guys. So let's head back. We'll turn this quest in.
What do you require?
You have a Worn Stone token, Travenin. The Magus is eager to unlock their secrets. This will do nicely, although it looks like their magic is faded. It would be best if the Magus initial experiments were on inert specimens such as these. Thank you, Travenin. Alright, so it looks like there's more...
What is it?
There's more things that we need to do here. And I guess we will continue questing with these guys. But that is going to be the end of today's episode. As always, thanks for watching. Keep your heads up. Later.